All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to today's explainer. Today, we are doing a highly structured, fully ranked breakdown of the best Monday.com alternatives in 2026. Look, if you use Monday.com, you already know it's fantastic. Those colorful visual boards, they're honestly incredible for flexible project planning and cross-functional coordination. But eventually, a lot of teams hit a wall and start searching for something a bit different. So today, we're going to help you match your specific operational needs to the absolute perfect tool through a completely fair ranked comparison.
To keep this explainer as crisp as a perfect standard operating procedure, here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover project versus process work, our #1 alternative Process Street, top project management competitors, no-code workflow platforms, docs, training, and data, and finally, the final verdict.
Section 1. Project versus process work. Before we can rank anything, we really have to ask the big question. Why do teams actually leave Monday.com in the first place? Well, it all comes down to the fundamental nature of your daily tasks. A project is unique work with a defined end date. Think like launching a brand new marketing campaign. If your tasks are dynamic and they have a clear finish line, Monday.com is brilliant at handling that. It gives you the total flexibility to adapt on the fly. But let's look at the flip side. A process is recurring work that literally has to happen the exact same way every single time. We're talking about things like onboarding a new employee or closing the monthly financials. If your work requires strict enforcement and an audit trail, a flexible visual project board just kind of falls apart. You don't need a project board. You need a process engine. And this is the ultimate fork in the road for our ranking today. Are you managing flexible, unique projects over on the Monday.com side? Or do you need to execute recurring operations with strict, audit-ready compliance? Because if you need deep SOP and policy enforcement, that's exactly when you start looking elsewhere.
Which brings us to Section 2, our #1 alternative for 2026, Process Street.
Now, if your team runs on recurring processes, Process Street is without a doubt the definitive top choice. It's a dedicated compliance operations platform, so instead of just loosely tracking tasks, it actually takes your policies and procedures and turns them into automated, AI-enforced workflows. Unlike Monday.com's focus on unique projects, this is built from the ground up to ensure recurring work happens uniformly, and it generates a real-time audit trail for every single run. It's a real game changer. So how does it actually pull this off without you having to beg IT for help? Well, it connects 3 core tools on one single platform. First, you have Docs, which gives you a hub for version-controlled SOPs, complete with approvals and review cycles. Second is Ops. This is a no-code engine that turns those static, boring procedures into dynamic, runnable workflows driven by forms and conditional logic. And finally, an AI agent acts as this tireless compliance monitor, flagging missteps way before they become actual liabilities. Because of this architecture, your policies are actively enforced. They aren't just passively sitting in a wiki somewhere. Every action is time-stamped. This makes Process Street the absolute best fit for regulated teams tackling the alphabet soup of compliance, whether that's ISO 9001 for quality management, SOC 2 for data security, HIPAA for healthcare privacy, or SOX for financial reporting. It's basically for teams that need to be audit-ready at a moment's notice. Section 3. Top project management competitors. Okay, but what if your work actually is project-based and you just want a different flavor than Monday.com? Here is our ranking for direct, flexible project tracking competitors. Coming in at #2 is Asana, universally loved for clean timelines and goals, making it a fantastic match for cross-functional projects. #3 is ClickUp. They offer incredibly dense, customizable views if your team wants an all-in-one, highly flexible solution. At #4, we have Smartsheet. Honestly, if your team practically lives in spreadsheets but you need enterprise-grade governance on top of that, this is your home. And rounding out this specific project category at #7 is Rike, heavily favored by marketing and creative teams because of its stellar reporting and proofing tools. Moving right along to Section 4, no-code workflow platforms. If your team handles structured operational workflows, think like IT requests or HR onboarding, this is absolutely your category. Rank #5 goes to KissFlow, which is a powerhouse for building custom process apps and complex approvals. Right behind it, at #6, is Pipefy. They use Kanban-style pipes. Just picture visual columns of cards moving from left to right to totally standardize your team's request-to-resolution cycles. Both of these offer fantastic no-code automation to keep things structured. Almost done here. Section 5, Docs, Training, and Data. Sometimes you just need a better way to handle pure knowledge.
Taking the number 8 spot overall in our alternatives ranking is Notion. Notion is universally loved as this beautiful, highly flexible workspace and wiki for lightweight databases and knowledge management. However, there is a really crucial limitation here when it comes to operations. While Notion is excellent for passively storing your SOPs, it is completely passive on process enforcement. It doesn't actually enforce your workflows, and it completely lacks the strict audit trails that compliance work demands. So it's a wonderful storage tool for sure, but it is not an execution engine. When we step back and look at this entire category together, Notion sits at number 8 for flexible docs and wikis. At number 9 is Trainual, which really shines as a documentation-first platform loaded with an incredible template library. It's absolutely perfect for employee onboarding and process documentation. And wrapping up our top 10 is Airtable, a brilliant database spreadsheet hybrid. That's your absolute go-to for organizing highly structured data and building really light internal apps. And that brings us to Section 6, the final verdict. We've thoroughly audited the 2026 landscape today. We've given total respect to Monday.com for its incredible project capabilities, while exploring the highly specific superpowers of its top alternatives. Ultimately, matching the tool to the work is everything. So I'll leave you with this final pivotal question to ask your team. Is your work a unique project, or is it a recurring compliance process? If it's a unique project, you might just want to stick with Monday.com, or maybe explore Asana and ClickUp. But if your answer is recurring process, if you actually demand enforceable execution, accountability, and strict audit trails, your search shouldn't just start with Process Street, it should end there. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.